Don't sell it to anyone else because then we'll only have it.
And that's going to get cut out.
That might be like the cold open.
Don't sell it to anyone else.
At first, I was a little skeptical, but I'm Team Quil. Like, I love it.
Quil made it so easy for the implementation. All I had to provide was our interview sheets. It was so seamless. It's insane.
That's awesome.
You made it easy for us, Ryan.
So before Quil, taking notes while interviewing candidates was a little bit challenging because you had to write, but then also look and be engaged. Quil has definitely changed the way that I interact with candidates during interviews because I'm able to give my full attention and keep that train of thought where it's supposed to be. I also like that it takes all of the information and compiles it in different ways. So yes, I can get the whole transcript or I can get the whole video, but then I can also get different summaries, whether it's like a summary that's tailored specifically to what we are looking for, or if it's like, okay, I just need a summary of this candidate in general.
Looking back and when I have to reflect on the interview and the notes, if I forget something, I have everything right there transcribed as opposed to remembering from my notes.
We're Tristarr, focused on professional office staffing. We interview a lot of people, and our interviews are really important. They're in depth. A bottleneck of our process was always getting the notes from the interview effectively into our database quickly and efficiently. Identifying a potential solution was something I never thought I'd find. When I first demoed Quil, it was like, holy crap, this solves like the bottleneck that is the biggest bottleneck, the most frustrating bottleneck, and the one that I didn't think I'd solve this quickly in this whole AI automation thing. The thing that I loved about Quil was from the time I demoed it till the time it was working, I think was less than 3 weeks. It was a quick and easy, seamless implementation. Your team was great working with our team to get it working. You listened to us about how we could improve the product. The ability to solve a problem and solve it quickly was just enlightening for me as one of the owners of the business.
My entire position revolves around making the processes as seamless and quick as they possibly can be. So we don't have to worry when somebody gets interviewed. If they're a really good fit for somebody else's position, that staffing manager can just go right in and see their full interview notes. They don't have to wait until that staffing manager types up their notes, gets their thoughts together. Sometimes they've got back-to-back interviews throughout the day. They've got that stack of notes sitting on their desk and they're done at 4:00 with all of their interviews. They only get the notes in for 2 people. So we would wait on that. And then, I would hear, I'm behind on my interview notes. So finding a solution that completely takes out the idea of being behind on your interview notes, I think was game changing. Our staffing managers, when they're sitting in these interviews, don't have to worry, like Jules was saying, about writing everything down. They can really get that one-on-one experience with the candidates and focus on them, knowing that Quil is in the background doing all of that manual note taking for them. And I love that.
The way we did the demo was you interviewed Paige. After that interview, you clicked your button and it started to do its thing. And a couple minutes later, there it was. And it was just like you said it was going to be. So the demo sold it for me. So now I'd like to hear what Jules is going to say.
When Paige first introduced it, I was like, okay, these extra steps, are they taking away from the very limited time that I have set aside for admin work? Or are they going to help streamline it and make it better, faster, whatever? Then when we actually did it, I was like, oh my gosh, it just cut everything down, like almost in half, honestly, because the time spent not only taking the notes, but then going back in to either scan them or do the data entry side, like that in itself is time consuming. And when you're sitting at the computer, like you kind of get distracted and zoned out a little bit because it's like, okay, I'm sitting at my computer trying to get this done. But then with Quil, it took all of that away. And I was able to fully incorporate it. Like we just had a team meeting, and after we were done, I was like, can we input this into Quil and do this? Like that's the thought process now. Like, how can we Quil this? Like, what do we have to do to get this into Quil?
In the last 2 years, we've done so much tech, new ATS, new tech, all of this new stuff that's so new and exciting. We kind of called it like a tech burnout. Every time I go to the team and say, we found this new product, we're going to go into implementation, I see the look of fear on their faces. It's a tech burnout. They're like, I can't possibly do one more thing. Kind of like Jules was saying, it's just another thing that I have to do. But Quil made it so easy for the implementation that the same day we went live with it, they were using it. You know, we went live at 1:00 in the afternoon, and the afternoon's interviews had Quil used on them, because it was so easy not only to adopt the product, but work it into their workflow, that I didn't even have to worry about, oh God, it's another piece of tech. What if they don't use it? We've used it for in-person interviews. You know, have your laptop there. Do you mind if we transcribe this? The fact that it was so easy to implement and adopt made my life so much easier. I think it kind of pulled people out of their little bit of tech burnout, having this great piece of technology that works into our workflow and gives them time back in their day that they didn't have to spend 3 weeks learning how to use.